All right, I think we can get this started. So thank you everybody for the final part of this summit. To quickly introduce myself again, I'm Spencer Haber and I'm one of the co-presidents at NUImpact. We're now approaching the tail end of our summit, so I want to thank you for spending your Saturday with us and sticking around until this point. I hope you've all taken away tidbits of inspiration and advice from all of our speakers and are energized to go forth and put it into action in your personal and professional lives. Now we'll share a pre-recorded concluding keynote message from Boston City Councilor Michelle Wu, and then close with a reflection from Mark Bernfeld, who's an angel investor, entrepreneur, and our amazing NUImpact faculty advisor. From there, we'll conclude with some final words from our student leadership. For some background on Michelle Wu, as mentioned, she's an accomplished member of the Boston City Council. As the first Taiwanese American and first Asian American woman to serve on the City Council, she's now running for mayor of Boston and is one of the early frontrunners, having already been endorsed by many local political leaders, including Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren. She defines her public policy platform as a promise and commitment to Boston residents to take on the hardest challenges we face and center our efforts on the pursuit of racial, economic, and climate justice. An ardent advocate for sustainable and accessible transportation and infrastructure. An ardent advocate for sustainable and accessible transportation, infrastructure, reform, and accessibility, Michelle proposed the first city-level Green New Deal of anywhere across the country. As you can imagine, running for mayor of Boston is no easy task, so while Michelle was unable to join us live today, she was thrilled to take part in our event and was kind enough to send in a pre-recorded message. So I will share my screen and play that now.
Hi Northeastern, it's Boston City Councilor Michelle Wu, also a candidate for mayor of Boston. I'm so honored to be with you today to be part of this important conference and to share a little bit about how much it matters for you all to be taking the lead on issues such as sustainable investing, such as sustainability in general, climate justice, and making sure that we are putting every bit of our energy towards closing gaps. As you know, I am running for mayor to bring bold, urgent leadership in making Boston a city for everyone. I'm not someone who ever imagined running for office when I was growing up. I'm the daughter of immigrants and the oldest kid, and my parents came to this country not speaking English, nothing in their pockets, and really never talking about politics with us kids. There was always a sense of barriers, always a sense that the ways in which we would stick out, but kids were taught just keep your head down and work harder. But when you realize, as we have during this pandemic, that everyone keeping their heads down, trying to stay safe on their own, that isn't working, the solution is that we need to understand the ways in which we're all interconnected to each other and also how all our issues are connected as well. I'm someone who's been fighting for climate justice. I proposed the first city-level Green New Deal anywhere in the country with a team that has spent a tremendous amount of time working with local activists, meeting with national experts, trying to organize around how we can address this very short window we have to fix climate change and do so in a way that leads with equity. The concepts behind sustainable investing feel the same, that when we are taking actions to grow our economic prosperity, we should at the same time be furthering our goals when it comes to climate, when it comes to closing the racial wealth gap, when it comes to preparing and investing in a better future for all of us. And so for me, this moment is one of such urgency, such consequence. I'm a mom with two boys who are 6 and 3, and I know that we don't have time, we don't have the luxury to be able to wait until there's a comfortable solution, a convenient solution to climate change and so many other crises we are living through now as the COVID-19 pandemic goes on. And so every action we take truly needs to be geared towards the vision of a city for everyone, a state and a world in which every family has what they need to thrive. And in Boston, we can lead the way. We are a city with tremendous resources, unmatched activism, incredible ideas. We just need bold, urgent leadership to connect our communities. And so I thank you today for all that you're doing. I know that our charge, most of all, is to get out of the way and follow the lead of young people. Every major advance in our country's history when it comes to equality, equity, civil rights, all the major progress that we've seen, it's always come through movements led by young people. And so I'm eager to make sure that we are creating and fostering that atmosphere those platforms for activism in Boston. I'm so honored to be with you today. Thank you so much for your activism and your engagement, and so grateful to be a small part of your conference today. Thanks so much.
All right. I'd like to extend a huge thank you to Councillor Wu for taking the time out of her schedule to provide those energizing remarks. I don't know about you, but I'm very excited to now, go in the Boston community and elsewhere to, drive change on those issues like she listed. So I really appreciate her doing that. For more information on her and her campaign, you can go to michelleforboston.com. It's also included in the session additional information if you just scroll down on the video. So now I'd like to hand over the floor to Mark Bernfeld, our faculty advisor at Northeastern, for a closing reflection.
Thank you, Spencer. Hi, folks. I want to start by thanking Michelle Wu. What an outstanding and inspiring discussion. Her life story and what she wants to accomplish really means a lot to all of us, and I thank her for taking the time. I want to next turn to the NUImpact team, who did such an amazing job today. Natasha, my student, thank you so much. Spencer, Mason, Izzy, great work. The entire team, thank you so much. Next, I want to talk about the speakers. So many people have spent their Saturdays trying to inform us today and doing such a great job of it. Thank you, speakers. And then I want to say to all of you who are still left, thank you for your investment on a Saturday in sustainable, in impact investing. We really appreciate it. So I want to go back to a comment that Michelle made, Michelle Wu. She said, it's time for us to get out of the way and follow the lead of young people. That's an important statement to me, and I hope it's an important statement to you. For me, I will rephrase it a little bit. Maybe it's time to empower young people to be our leaders as we need to move forward. Today's been an important part of that, and I hope you all take that really seriously. So, Shadow came to say hello. In closing, I've always found as a teacher that it's really helpful to let great people learn from one another. So I'd like you to get the chat out right now. I'd like you to tell one another 3 things. You can answer 1, 2, or 3 of these questions and put them in the chat. Question 1, what did you learn today? And accompanying that, why is it important to you? Question 2, what are you going to do about it? And maybe you've learned something about that today. And then question 3, who are you going to do it with? And maybe you learned something about that today. Can we all go to the chat and see if we can get some comments and learn from one another? Thank you, Mason. I learned that impact investing can have similar returns to more traditional investing. Absolutely. I'm an impact investor, for those of you who don't know me, as well as a professor at Northeastern, and I'm expecting returns that are as good as traditional investing. Izzy says she heard from a ton of speakers, emphasized the importance of human connection. Absolutely. One of the things that's so wonderful about NUImpact is the human connection and the selflessness of our leaders and all of our students. Richard says, connecting with amazing speakers on LinkedIn. Absolutely. Feel empowered. Reach out to them. They're here for you. Great comment, Richard. Karan, my friend Karan. It's for everyone, Karan says, not just with dollars, but with culture, company, etc. Yes, it can be for everyone. Loved hearing from the NUImpact alums hearing about their experiences. Absolutely. The alums were great. I missed that session, unfortunately, because I was off helping another student group, but great. Lydia, one of my favorite quotes was from David at Grameen: collaboration is a lot of work, but it's worth it. Completely agree. It is a lot of work, but it's worth it. And one of the things that I've seen about NUImpact is how well we do that. Jordan, I learned the ins and outs of future of healthcare, digital health. That's great. So I'm hearing about a lot about what you learned. Tell me what you're going to do about it, folks. Mason, it's important to ensure equity in implementation of technology. What are you going to do about it? Who are you going to do it with? Right? I'm doing it with Shadow, as you can see. Mason's going to apply to NUImpact, of course. All right, so this is a tough way to do it via chat, right, folks? I think it's important for all of you. Karan, start a company that promotes equity education. Karan's going to be a star, we know that. And of course, selfless that he is, he's going to help everyone else in the process. Thank you, Karan. So one of the things I want you to be doing, one of the things we all need to take away from this conference is how we can make that difference. You've heard the message. It does not have to be today. It can take time. You can acquire other skills throughout your career, but it starts today. It starts with you thinking about it. It starts with you connecting with other people. It starts with you making a difference yourself in some small ways. And with that, I know we're just about at 2 o'clock. So Spencer, can I hand it back to you?
Hi, Mark.
Hi, Natasha.
Thank you, Mark, for an awesome closing remark. It's always a pleasure to hear from you, and seeing Shadow, of course. Yeah, I can take it from here. So thank you everyone for attending our NUSIS conference today. We hope that you got a little bit something from our interdisciplinary theme this year. We hope that you learned from all the speakers, whether that was sustainable energy infrastructure, the future of ESG investing, creating opportunities through microfinance, or women in impact investing, and healthcare innovation. I'm sure we have a very diverse audience out there, and there's something that someone can do, right, to make an impact in their space. So thank you everyone for attending. Thank you, Mark, again, and thank you to our awesome keynote speakers. I'll pass it off to our co-presidents, who will touch a little bit more about the importance of getting involved, and yeah, how do you get involved in NUImpact as well.
Yeah, thanks so much, Natasha. And I'm going to sort of echo a couple points that both Mark and Michelle Wu made. I hope that one of the things that you all were able to take away from this is that regardless of your specific professional interests, your career paths, there are ways to make positive impacts. And really, it's our responsibility, whether we work on healthcare, venture capital, engineering, even traditional finance, to continue pushing forward the positive change that has so much momentum right now. And especially if you're a college student like all of us, well, most of us up here on stage, I guess, a really great place to start is on campus. So getting involved in organizations like those we work with today. You have NUImpact, Vital, Student Value Fund, Women in Finance, and that's really just a small sampling of what's available. No matter where you are, there are people and organizations making tangible, positive change, and they're looking for people like all of you to help. And of course, as I mentioned in the chat, that includes us at NUImpact. So I'll leave it to Izzy to talk a little bit about that.
Thanks, Mason. And yeah, we might be a bit biased, but I'd say NUImpact is a great way to get involved. And as we've mentioned a few times, and as you might have seen in the expo session, we are starting up recruitment for next fall. So I'd say overall, NUImpact does provide a very unique opportunity to learn about impact investing firsthand, interact with local entrepreneurs and the communities around us, and then build viable skills that transfer to a broad range of careers, no matter the industry you're in. So speaking first for our fund team, they're responsible for managing our whole investment process. So you really learn how to evaluate early stage companies from a business, financial, and impact perspective. We focus on 5 main industries: healthcare, energy and the environment, community and economic development, food and agriculture, and educational and financial services. So even if you don't come from a business background or even a finance background, there's definitely a place for you in the fund. So I'll just pass it over to Spencer to talk a little bit about the educational programming team.
Absolutely. Thank you, Izzy. So as she kind of mentioned, the other side of our organization is the programming team. putting on events such as the summit. Kind of the main aim with that team is to expose students to the realm of sustainable investing and impact investing, and get exposure to that side of things. And so the main deliverables on that end are these keynote events that is really impactful, I can say, vouching personally on the planning side, to see how many people are able to have really inspiring takeaways and even like get opportunities in the field and land jobs because of our events. And so if that's something you're interested in, there are a lot of opportunities available specifically this semester on that side of the team, whether your interest is in marketing, design, event planning, conference planning, things of that sort. So even, if maybe your direct interest isn't in just finance or investing, there are a lot of ways at NUImpact and elsewhere that you can use those skills to contribute to this field. So with that said, that kind of concludes the event for the day. We will be keeping the booths open for the next 30 minutes or so people can go and check those out. As Mason mentioned, kind of on Mark's point of what will you do with it, there are other student organizations that have been partnering at this conference that you can learn more about and how to get involved with them, as well as our recruitment booth and our Giving Day booth. So we've been given a challenge by the university advancement offices, where there's an anonymous donor who has earmarked $6,000 for NUImpact, which is amazing, to be deployed into the Boston community as an investment or as part of an investment. So if we receive 50 donations of any dollar amount, we will actually get that $6,000 released and into our account to be invested in. So obviously this event was free, but we do encourage you to donate, anything, any amount counts to that Giving Day challenge, so that we can continue driving change in the Boston area. With that said, I want to just give a final thank you to everyone for attending and spending their Saturday with us. I hope everyone has a great day. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.